Clark County Today is presented by Connell Real Estate. Hire an agent, get a team. Learn more by visiting connellrealestate.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Brown. On this Wednesday, Clark County Public Health has confirmed 2 new cases of COVID-19, bringing our case total to 395. No new deaths have been reported, so the total there remains at 24. The number of people hospitalized rose by 1, so there are now 10 confirmed cases in Clark County hospitals, with 3 still in intensive care. The Clark County Council, acting as the Board of Health, held a work session today aiming to get clarity from Governor Jay Inslee's office about just what the goals are for case activity, testing, and contact tracing, and how those might impact the county's ability to move more quickly toward letting businesses reopen. So far, 10 counties have been allowed to move ahead to phase 2, but the governor's criteria for that includes at least 3 weeks with no new cases, something the council sees as unlikely for a county of this size. The next step would include testing, but getting accurate data on how many tests are actually being done has proven to be a bit tricky, as providers are only required to report those that come back positive. The county, as we said yesterday, is also working to hire more people to notify those who've been in close contact with a known case. County hopes to have answers to some of those questions in time for next Wednesday's Board of Health public meeting. Well, the cost of the coronavirus outbreak is turning out to be more than the statistics say. We had a chance to talk with several Clark County residents on the human cost of this pandemic. Jacob Granneman joins us with more about that.
Thanks, Chris. This story was pretty difficult to write, to be honest, and there's a lot of moving components, there's a lot of variables, and there's also a lot of different perspectives. But at the end of the day, the consensus that we found in writing this story is that there is a cost to the coronavirus that isn't just in the statistical realm of things. We got to speak with a woman here in Clark County who was actually diagnosed with COVID and then went through the treatment process, also had pneumonia, and then overcame that as well, and kind of her and her family's experience with the testing and also with the separation, being separated in the hospital from the loved ones. And in that same vein, we also got to speak with a young married couple here in Clark County who the husband in this couple is currently battling cancer throughout his body. And they have treatment at OHSU, and last month they had a pretty difficult encounter with some security at OHSU because of the restrictions for family members being with patients, and there's been a formal grievance filed with OHSU, so their story is also in there as well. OHSU has commented and said that they cannot comment on the specific situation, but that they adhere to guidelines of restricting visitors from going into the building during the COVID-19 pandemic, but that there are exceptions to that, and you can go to the story to find the full list of those things. It's common with many hospitals. But overall, the story focuses on the human perspectives of folks during this time, and we hope that you will take a moment to read it. And really, the goal is that you put aside your opinions and you put aside your predispositions about the situation and just listen. Just listen to people's thoughts and their challenges and also their encouragement during this time.
Thank you, Jacob, for sharing those stories. The impact for Clark County school districts could be severe from a budgetary standpoint. While state and federal emergency funding is helping to offset losses this fiscal year, districts are warning that they could face budget holes in the future. State is expected to face a loss of between $5 and $8 billion in revenue from this pandemic, and 51% of the general fund budget currently goes to basic education. And that could leave districts facing their own budget constraints. Vancouver Public Schools, for instance, which says higher than expected enrollment should allow them to fill a projected $4.5 million budget shortfall, is banking some of that money to hopefully withstand the losses that may be inbound. The state revenue forecast is due around the middle of next month. Well, on to some better news. Bridge Chiropractic has been a part of the Clark County community for over 20 years now. For the last couple months and for the next 3 days, they plan to continue being a part of the community by offering free chiropractic care for frontline medical workers. Owner and founder Dr. Paul Reed told us that many of these workers are spending 10 to 12 hours on their feet each day, and that can cause excessive fatigue and soreness in the body, as you can imagine. The offer extends through this Friday. All medical workers who call one of the 4 Bridge Chiropractic clinics can receive a free preliminary exam and then 30 days of free care following that. For more info, be sure to visit clarkcountytoday.com. Well, Steigerwald Lake National Wildlife Refuge in Washougal will be experiencing some closures starting next month, but this has nothing to do with the coronavirus pandemic. The Steigerwald Reconnection Project, a multi-year effort led by the Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership along with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the Port of Camas Washougal, is getting underway. That project will reconfigure the existing Columbia River levee system to reduce flood risk, reconnect 965 acres of Columbia River floodplain, and increase recreation opportunities at the refuge. In the meantime, the existing parking lot will permanently close on June 1st. The dike trail will remain open, but the refuge's internal trails will be closed to the public from July 6th, will be off limits. The entire refuge will be closed to the public from July 6th through October 2nd. Travelers and local residents may also experience intermittent lane closures on SR 14 from the beginning of June through the end of September during construction on the highway. An estimated 503 Family Ways jobs will be created through this project. It's expected to bring more than $67 million to the Southwest Washington economy. With the recent rain, it's easy to forget that wildfire season is just around the corner. In fact, in some cases, it's already here. Clark County Fire District 3 is gearing up for what they expect will be a busy wildland fire season. This year's been one of the driest on record for the area. The crews have already had to deal with several wildland fires, so Fire District 3 recently replaced one squad, also known as a brush truck, and purchased another to bring the agency total to 6. Well, this type of emergency vehicle is lighter and faster than a traditional fire engine and can go off-road to reach a wildland fire or cover ground faster in urban areas. The push for Fire District 3 at the moment is encouraging you to prepare your property. Normally, the Fire District provides free property inspections, but that's not possible right now due to the COVID-19 outbreak and social distancing. Instead, they're asking homeowners to follow guidelines to protect their property in case of a wildland fire. You can find a list of those guidelines in our story at clarkcountytoday.com. We also recently did a story in which we followed along as they did an inspection of a property, so check that out. While there have been no sports for a while, the WIAA has been in the news lately. Here's Paul Valencia detailing some changes coming to youth basketball, and changes to how the organization can discipline athletes and coaches.
Happy Wednesday to you all. Hey, earlier we told you about the WIAA's new seating committee plan for all team sports for state tournament play. Well, this week the WIAA also announced 18 amendments have passed its representative assembly. Here are some of the notable amendment changes. Basketball. Shoot the ball. Hey, boys basketball will only have 30 seconds to shoot now. If they need help with the adjustment, they can just ask the girls. Girls basketball players have had 30 seconds on the shot clock for years. The boys, for whatever reason, have had 35. Now they will be the same. Hey, that should be great news for area athletic directors. I swear, at least once a month I saw an AD scrambling with technical difficulties whenever a gym would host back-to-back games, boys-girl, then a boys game, then a girls game. And it just seemed like they always had issues resetting the clock to 35 or 30. So now it'll always be 30. Hey, the girls will need to make some adjustments as well. It looks like there will be a 10-second backcourt violation in girls basketball play now. That's a change. The girls have never had the 10-second rule since they've had a shot clock. So now everything will be equal. 30-second shot clock and a 10-second violation for the backcourt. And here are a couple of amendments that should catch everybody's attention. Always remember, the eye in the sky does not lie. Hey, an athlete or a coach who commits an act that should have led to an ejection, but an official didn't see it? Well, that athlete or coach might not be getting away with it now. The WIA has the power now to look at video and then suspend a player or a coach after the fact. Also, in the past, an ejection warranted a one-game suspension, following that game. So you get ejected and then you're suspended the next game. Well, there's a new amendment now that allows the WIA to add to that suspension if, the player or the coach, based on his actions after the ejection, if they got aggressive toward an official, used bad language, they can add a game or 2 or 3 or whatever they need to add based on the video evidence. Bottom line, just be nice to each other.
Thanks for that report, Paul. And now a final note before we sign off this evening. You may have noticed we're doing more of these video reports. Clark County Today editor Kim Vance shared with all of you the history and purpose of our efforts to provide you with video news updates like this. An evening news report with a singular focus toward the Clark County community has long been the vision of Clark County Today owner and founder David Medore. Now, I don't have the time in this broadcast to share with you what kind of an effort it takes for a staff of our size to produce a single news report such as this, but we are very proud to say that we have exceeded in our efforts to the point where we're ready to share our future plans and intentions in a more official manner. Over the past few weeks, we've been providing updates at 6 o'clock Tuesday through Friday. It's our intention to keep that schedule for the immediate future with the goal of adding Mondays as soon as our staffing and efficiency allows. You can read more of the history, vision, and details in Ken's column at clarkcountytoday.com. And as always, we welcome your feedback. We also welcome your contributions. We've been blessed over the years with video, photos, and even reporting contributions from many of you. If you have a passion for citizen journalism, we encourage you to share your submissions to our editor via email at ken.v@clarkcountytoday.com. And there's your quick check of our headlines from this Wednesday at Clark County Today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see when stories are posted and be part of the conversation. For all of us, I'm Chris Brown. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.